Osceola County, can you hear me? I know.
Yes, Judge.
All right, we're working today.
Excellent.
All right, good morning, I'm Judge Bell. I'm here for initial appearances. The proceedings being recorded with the exception of defendants, with the exception of your names. I won't be asking you any questions. Will the attorneys announce their name for the record, please?
Paul William McBride on behalf of the state of
Yes.
Florida.
And Javier Chavez on behalf of the Public Defender's Office.
All right, and Attorney Chavez, did you have an opportunity to review all the charging documents this morning?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, I have found probable cause, but if you see any issues that you think need to be readdressed, please let me know. The first case
Okay.
the first case that I have today is the case of, and forgive me everyone if I mispronounce your name, Violet Blanchie? Would you please state your name for the record?
Violet Arson Bianchi.
Okay, I could barely hear you. I think it has something to do with that microphone there.
Violet Arson Bianchi.
Okay, thank you. I find probable cause to support your arrest for a battery domestic. This involved, it appears to have involved your nephew. There was no
Yes,
bond
ma'am.
set at this time. Is there anybody actually sitting down there that, particularly the alleged victim, that may wish to present some testimony today? Counsel?
No one's shown up here, Judge. I think they were supposed to show up in Orange County, but no one's shown up here.
And no one is, no victims are here to provide victim input?
No, Your Honor, not for Osceola County.
Does either counsel want to say anything to the court with the current status of the law, including Marcy's law? We're supposed to have some kind of victim input.
Your Honor, the state would just request a no contact until we have victim input, until that point.
Judge, it's my understanding that she does qualify for pretrial release with a bond. I would ask that you do set a bond and no contact with the victim until, because there's victim input.
All right, a pretrial release with a $500 bond and no contact with the victim until this further order of the court.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you need the services of a public defender to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any income? Because it's, the form I received has no boxes checked at all.
No, not at the moment.
All right, I will appoint the public defender to represent you. That's all we're going to do for today. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, the next case I have is William Lee Bostick. Sir, for purposes of the record, would you identify yourself?
William Lee Bostic.
All right, sir, you were charged with trespass. I find that there's probable cause to support your arrest for this charge. You've indicated you wish the services of the public defender. I will appoint the public defender to represent you, and bond has been set at $250. That's all we're going to do for today.
Thank you.
The next case I have this morning is Mr. Marvin Brown. And sir, would you just confirm your name for the record, please?
Marvin Brown.
Mr. Brown, let me tell you why you are currently being held in Osceola County. There is an out-of-county warrant on an alleged charge of child abuse from Polk County. I would anticipate that they will probably pick you up within about 24 hours, sir, but that's why you're being held at this time.
All right.
All right. The next case I have is Nigel Timothy Collins. And sir, would you just confirm your name for the record, please?
Nigel Collins.
All right, Mr. Collins, you were charged with aggravated battery on a pregnant woman. I will hear from both attorneys regarding any considerations of bond and/or conditions. The public defender is appointed to represent this gentleman.
Your Honor, the state, until there's input from the victim, would request no contact as well as no weapons or firearms.
Defense counsel?
Judge, it's my understanding that he does qualify for PCR with bond, so I would ask for that and no contact. I think it's fine with it as well.
Okay, sir, we're losing you again. I think there's something wrong with your microphone down there.
Okay, Judge, my client's okay with no contact. My understanding is he does qualify for pretrial release with bond.
Okay. I'll order a $500 bond with pretrial release. And at this time, until there's any subsequent modification by the court, at this time, there is to be no contact with Jesse Scott, who is identified as the alleged victim in this case. And the public defender has been appointed. That's all we're going to do for today.
Your Honor, the state also
And no
requests...
weapons.
Thank you.
The next case I have is Mr. Carlos Ruben Colon Diaz.
He needs a Spanish interpreter, Judge.
All right. Is the interpreter with us? Do you want to try to reach her? All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreters on the line.
All right. Have you been sworn in today?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Did you swear her
Do
in?
you swear to interpret from Spanish to English, English to Spanish, the testimony you will receive today?
Yes, I do. Dalia Romero, State Certified Spanish Interpreter for the record.
Okay. Would you just ask the gentleman at the podium in Osceola County to please identify himself?
Señor, por favor, díganos su nombre completo.
Carlos Rubén Colón Díaz.
Repita.
Carlos Rubén Colón Díaz.
Carlos Rubén Colón Díaz.
All right, Mr. Colon Diaz, you have two cases pending at this time. The first case charges you with possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Señor Colón Díaz, usted tiene dos casos pendientes frente aquí en esta sala en el día de hoy. El primero es tenencia de cocaína y tenencia de accesorios para el uso de drogas.
In that case, bond has been set at $1,000 on count one and $500 on count two, and I do find probable cause.
En estos casos se le ha establecido una fianza de $1,000 en el primer cargo, $500 en el segundo cargo, y he hallado que hay causas que respaldan la acusación.
You did not indicate, before I get to the second case, you did not indicate in either case whether you wish to be considered for the services of a public defender.
Antes de que hablemos del segundo caso, usted no indicó en ningún momento si quería ser asistido por la Oficina de Defensores Públicos.
No,
¿Perdón?
no,
No.
Sir, are you going to hire your own attorney, sir?
¿Usted va a contratar su propio abogado, señor?
no, es que yo no sabía, es la primera vez que yo estoy aquí, es la primera que yo me cojo un caso.
No, this is the first time I have a case. This is the first time that I'm here.
All right, sir. I don't know why we're miscommunicating, but all I'm asking you is if you want to hire your own lawyer, or if you would like me to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Señor, no sé cuál es la mala comunicación que tenemos aquí en el día de hoy. Lo único que yo le estoy preguntando y quiero saber es si usted va a contratar un abogado usted mismo o quiere que le designen la Oficina de Defensores Públicos para que les represente.
Que me designen,
¿Perdón?
que me designen uno.
Assign an attorney.
All right. Do you have any income, sir, at this time?
En este momento, señor, ¿usted tiene algún tipo de ingreso?
No, pero no tengo.
No, but no, I don't have any.
All right, I'm appointing the public defender. Let me get to the next case. The second case, sir, charges you with introducing contraband into a detention facility and possession or use of drug paraphernalia. The court finds probable cause. The bond is set at $2,500 on count one and $500 on count two, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you also on this case.
Bien, señor. Ahora vamos a hablar del segundo caso. También se le ha acusado de haber llevado algún tipo de contrabando a una facilidad de detención y posesión de accesorios para el uso de drogas. Yo he hallado que hay causas que respaldan esta acusación. En el primer caso la fianza son $2,500, en el segundo $500 y también se le designa al defensor público para que le represente en todos estos casos.
That's all we're going to do for today, sir. Good luck.
Eso es todo lo que vamos a hacer por el día de hoy, señor. Buena suerte.
Okay, the next case I have is Paul Dimitro.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Sir, just for the record, if you would please confirm your name.
My first name is Paul. My last name is Dimitro.
All right, sir, the reason that you are here today is I do find probable cause for your arrest on a charge of grand theft. This is from an incident that occurred at Walmart. Bond has been set at $1,000. However, sir, the record shows that you're currently out on bond for a grand theft felony, 2019 CF 351, and I'm revoking that bond. There'll be no bond in that case at this time. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. That's all we'll be doing for today.
Your Honor, with all due respect, can I stop you for 1 second? I was supposed to go to the Drug Rehabilitation Center Tuesday. I was going to Parkview Place. I promise you. If you want to
Sir, this is,
put me in there yourself, that's fine.
sir,
But I
understand that this, in an initial appearance, first of all, I tell people not to say anything because the only purpose of this proceeding is to tell you why you are being held today, to appoint a public defender if you need one, and to tell you whether or not there will be bond. That is the sole purpose of this proceeding today, sir. Anything else, please discuss with your lawyer. That's all we're going to do for today. The next case is Carlos Diaz Rodriguez.
He needs a Spanish interpreter, Judge.
Okay, Your Honor.
Sir, would you please verify your name?
Señor, por favor, verifique cuál es su nombre completo, por favor.
Carlos Luis Díaz Rodríguez.
Carlos Luis Díaz Rodríguez. Carlos Luis Díaz Rodríguez.
All right. All right, sir. You are here today for the following: no motor vehicle registration. There's probable cause to support your arrest. The narrative is clear that this tag had been surrendered, or at least it's alleged it had been surrendered by a prior owner. The bond is set at that case at $500. However, you're currently out on bond for the following charges: tampering with evidence, resisting officer without violence, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a controlled substance in felony case number 2019 CF 1466, and that bond is being revoked. I will appoint the public defender to represent you.
Your Honor, could you repeat for the interpreter the charges that he's out on bond at the present time, please?
All right, he's currently out on bond in case number 2019 CF 1466 on the following charges: tampering with evidence, resisting officer without violence, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a controlled substance.
One moment, please. Señor, usted está aquí por no haber tenido la registración o la matrícula del carro. Yo hallo que hay causas que respaldan el arresto. De acuerdo al reporte que se ha entregado, esa tablilla o placa había sido entregada por el dueño del vehículo previamente. La fianza en esta causa son de $500. Ahora, usted aquí aparece que está bajo fianza en el caso 19 CF 1466, la cual el juez le va a revocar la fianza. En ese caso, tiene unos cargos de haber resistido arresto, de haber estado entorpeciendo con las pruebas o la evidencia, de posesión de accesorios para el uso de droga y de de una sustancia controlada. Se le designa al defensor público para que le represente en todos estos casos.
All right, the next case we're going to call is Jeremiah Feliciano. Mr. Feliciano, would you please confirm your name for the record?
Jeremiah Feliciano.
All right, Mr. Feliciano, I see you have requested the services of the public defender, and I am appointing the public defender to represent you. Sir, the reason you're currently being held is on the following charges, and I do find probable cause for the arrest on these charges: marijuana possession less than 20 grams, possession of OxyContin without a prescription, drug equipment possession and/or use, tampering with or fabricating physical evidence. The bonds have been set as follows: on count 1, $250, count 2, $2,500, count 3, $500, count 4, $2,500. Public defender is appointed to represent you. The next case is Austin Tyler Fisk.
Good morning.
Sir, could you confirm your name, please?
My name is Austin Fisk.
All right, Mr. Fisk, let me tell you why you're being held at this time. You're being held at this time with no bond for failure to report within 48 hours, failure to provide an address, failure to update and have verifiable identification, and this is all in regard to an underlying conviction as a sexual offender. There's no bond at this time. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. That's all we'll be doing for
I'd ask
today.
for PTR.
Your request is denied.
Can I,
Sir, that's all
Can
we're
I
doing for
ask you-
today. The next case is Rasul Gonzalez Diaz. Would you please state your name for the record?
González Díaz.
All right, the reason that you're being held at this time is for a violation of probation or community control. Bond has been set at $1,000, and I am appointing a public defender to represent you for your violation of probation hearing. That's all we're doing for today. The next case is Adrian Gonzalez Mercado.
He needs a Spanish interpreter, Judge.
Okay.
Interpreter's here, Your Honor.
Okay. Would you ask this gentleman to please identify himself?
Señor, por favor, díganos su nombre completo.
Adrian González Mercado.
Adrian González Mercado.
Mr. Mercado, you were charged with second-degree misdemeanor, operating a motor vehicle without having a valid license. I do find probable cause to support your arrest for this charge. Bond has been set at $500. You have indicated you wish the services of the public defender. I will appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. Good luck.
Señor, usted está aquí por un caso en segundo grado de manejado sin una licencia válida. Yo hallo causas que respaldan el arresto. La fianza es de $500. Usted ha solicitado que se le designe el defensor público y por tal se le está designando el abogado defensor público para que le represente. Gracias.
The next case is Michael Alfredo Gutierrez. Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
Michael Gutierrez.
Mr. Gutierrez is probable cause to support your arrest on a charge of driving while license suspended with your knowledge. Bond is set at $500. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. Good luck. No driving or being in actual physical control of any motor vehicle unless or until you obtain a valid license.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Cory Hoffman.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, sir, would you please state your name for the record?
Cory Hoffman.
All right, sir, I do find probable cause to support your arrest on a charge of trespass. You have indicated, sir, that you wish to waive your right to representation. Is this correct, or do you want me to appoint a public defender to represent you?
Why would I do that? No, I want a public defender.
I'm sorry, sir, but I cannot hear you.
I'd like a public defender.
Okay, you must have just mistakenly checked the wrong box. I will appoint the public defender to...
Yeah.
Okay, I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond is set at $250. Good luck, no return to Wawa.
Oh, okay.
The next case I have is Mr. Roy Kelly. And sir, would you please identify yourself for the record?
Roy Kelly.
All right, Mr. Kelly, you have been, there is probable cause to support your arrest on a charge of battery, dating violence. The alleged victim in this case is a Christian Johnson. I know that no victims are present today, so I'll hear from both the defense and the state.
Your Honor, the state, again, in light of the fact the victim is not present, would request both a no contact and no weapons or firearms this time.
Defense?
Judge, it's my understanding that he qualifies for PTR with bond, so I would ask that you do set a bond
Okay?
in this case, and no contact. The defendant understands that, and he's okay with it.
Okay. You faded out towards the end, but I think I got the gist of what you were saying to me. I will set bond at $500 plus PTR. At this time, there is to be no contact with Kristen Johnson, the alleged victim in this case, and no possession of firearms or any weapons. I will appoint a public defender to represent you, sir. That's all we'll be doing for today. Good luck. Ashley Marie Maldonado Lopez. Would you please state your name for the record?
Ashley Maldonado.
All right, Ms. Maldonado, I find probable cause for your arrest on the charge of battery domestic. This does appear to involve a sibling. And I know that nobody is here today to provide input. Let me hear from both attorneys, please.
Again, for the same reason, Your Honor, the state would request a no contact.
And Ms. Maldonado, you sent me a blank form. Did you wish the services of the public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any income, ma'am, at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give me an idea of how much?
I couldn't tell you at the moment because I'm here, but I'm supposed to get paid tomorrow.
Do you usually get paid hourly?
Yeah,
And about how much per hour?
$11.50 an hour.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. And in line with the other cases, public defender, is she eligible also for the $500 fine, the PTR?
I'm not sure about PTR, Judge, but I would just ask for a bond in the lowest amount that you possibly could set in this case, Judge.
I'm sorry, I could not hear the end.
Judge, I would ask for the lowest possible bond you can. I'm not sure if she does qualify for PTR, or she does, actually, she does qualify for pretrial release.
Okay. One of my concerns is that since there's, Ms. Maldonado, do you have any place else to live? You were all living together.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for now you can give an alternate residence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. We'll eliminate the bond. I'll say PTR, separate residence, no contact at this time until it's modified by a subsequent court order, okay?
Your Honor, she actually qualifies for a bond with PTR.
All right. $500 bond, PTR, separate residence, no contact with the alleged victim. And the public defender is appointed. Good luck. Michael Pameles. And sir, would you please state your name for the record?
Michael Pameles.
All right, sir, you have requested the services of a public defender. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. I do find probable cause to support your arrest on the charge of possession of a controlled substance without prescription, specifically heroin. Bond is set at $1,000. Public defender is appointed. Good luck, sir. Mr. Joshua Rubin. Sir, would you please state your name for the record.
Joshua Rubin.
Mr. Rubin, you were charged with assault aggravated with a deadly weapon, but without the intention to kill, and resisting officer without violence. I do see you requesting a public defender. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. I do find probable cause on these charges. For count 1, I know that you are brothers, so I know the involvement. I read the underlying document. For count 1, I will impose a bond of $2,500. Count 2 is $250, no contact, separate residences, no weapons. Public defender is appointed. Got it? Okay. The next case is Hazel Sanchez. Ma'am, would you please state your name for the record?
Hazel Sanchez.
Ma'am, I find probable cause to support your arrest on a charge of domestic battery. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Is she eligible for PTR?
She's eligible for a bond with PTR, ma'am.
All right, $500 bond plus PTR, and no contact at this time until this further order of the court. Public defender is appointed.
Judge, just some clarification on this last case. My understanding is my client actually lives at that apartment and the lease is in her name. Her kids also reside there.
I would suggest, counsel, that you set a hearing in front of the judge. It will be assigned, perhaps tomorrow or the next day, to make sure the victim is there, to make sure the lease can be presented, and everything else that you feel is in her best interests.
Okay, Judge.
Charity Tavares. Would you please state your name for the record?
Charity Taveras.
I don't know if this is a mistake, but on the form that you have, that's been forwarded to me, you've indicated that you don't wish to have an attorney appointed. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You don't want an attorney appointed at this time? The form I have says you waive your representation to counsel. I'm just trying to find out if that was a mistake or not.
Yeah, I want an attorney.
All right, give me an idea of your income, please.
I get paid $9.50 an hour, weekly pay, probably 300 plus tips.
All right, we can no longer hear you in Osceola County.
I get paid $9.50 an hour, 300 a week, plus tips.
Okay, I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you. I find that there's probable cause to support your arrest on a charge of driving while license suspended with your knowledge. Bond is set at $500. Good luck. No driving or no actual physical control of any motor vehicle unless and until you obtain a valid driver's license. Next case is Anne Marie Yon.
Anne Marie Juan.
All right. Ma'am, I find probable cause to support your arrest on the charges of battery, dating violence, and obstructing an officer without violence or resisting officer without violence. I do note that you're requesting the assistance of a public defender, and the public defender is being appointed. There was no bond set on the battery charge, but I would set bond at $500 plus PTR, and no contact with the victim at this time until that's modified by subsequent court order. The resisting charge, I will change the bond to $250, and the public defender is appointed to represent you. Good luck.
Thank you.
The next case I have is Yusuf Ashford.
Judge, he refused, so I'd ask that you reset him for Monday.
All right, we'll roll this. Till tomorrow? Do you want me to separate that or just? Okay. I then have Zeena Davis. Would you please state your name for the record?
Zeena Davis.
Mrs. Davis, the reason that you're being held at this time is for warrant for filing false documents, 2 counts. You did not indicate whether or not you wish to be evaluated for the services of a public defender. Do you wish to be evaluated for the services of the public defender?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, do you have any income at this time?
Yes, I'm permanently disabled. I get Social Security.
Can you give me an idea of how much you receive in disability benefits?
$1,400.
A month?
Yes.
She's eligible, right? I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. On the counts, the bond is $250 on one and $2,500 on the other. And the public defender is appointed to represent you. Good luck. The next case, oh, Mrs. Davis has another case. Oh, Mrs. Davis, you're still there. I found a second case. I will appoint the public defender also on the second case. There are 4 counts on the second case. Simulating legal process by fraud. Bond has been set at $1,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, $1,000 on count 3, and $1,000 on count 4. So you have 2 cases. Public defender is appointed to represent you. Okay, the next case I have is Alex Omar Barrios. Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
Alex Omar Barrios.
These 2 case numbers are different. I'm missing some information. Yeah, the case that he's out on bond for, the 19MM2241, has a no information notice, so I'm not concerned about that. I'm looking for the attachment. He's now been charged with driving while license suspended or revoke third or more, with knowledge, third or more offense, and bond is set at $2,500. I don't know if on that case you have an attorney appointed, do you, sir?
I believe so. Public defender.
Okay. Do you have any income, sir, at this time?
No, ma'am.
All right, I will appoint the public defender on the Dwillis, third or subsequent offense. It looks like it may have been filed as a felony. Sir, you're not to be in actual physical control of any motor vehicle unless or until you obtain a valid driver's license, and bond is set at $2,500. Again, the other case, the 19 MM 2241, I'm going to indicate, if it's not already in the record, that you should be ROR'd on that case because there's been no, document's been filed called no information. So in case you were being held on that one, that will be corrected. Good luck, sir. Okay, Nicholas James Delaney. Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
Nicholas Dabney.
Okay. Sir, you were charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, but without the intention to kill, and the victim is your mother. I will go ahead and set bond at $2,500. There are to be no weapons. You are not permitted to have any contact at this time at all with your mother unless and until a court orders otherwise. You cannot return to her residence. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. No weapons, complete no contact order. The next case is David J. Estrella. Sir, would you please state your name for the record?
David Estrella.
All right. Mr. Estrella, you were charged with battery. This involves your alleged victim is your girlfriend. There was originally no bond. I will set bond at $500 plus PTR, but no contact with Taylor, no contact at all, meaning no residing together. There's a full no contact order. No contact at all unless until a subsequent court order has been entered. You did not indicate whether or not you want the services of a public defender. Were you seeking the services of a public defender, or are you going to hire your own attorney?
No, I'll have a public defender.
Do you have any income, sir, at this time?
Not that I know of. I was in the hospital for the last week, so I'm not sure if I still have my job, but if I do, it's about $250 a week.
All right. Well, sir, I did find probable cause, and I will appoint a public defender to represent you, and good luck. The next case is Ahmed Cahill.
He's in the hospital, Judge, so I'm going to ask, can you reset this for Monday, Judge, since he's in the hospital?
Okay. We will roll this till tomorrow. The next case I have is William Alfred Lepre III.
Judge, he's refused, so I'm going to go ahead and ask that you waive the reading of the charges.
Do you want the case to be reset till tomorrow because he's currently out on bond in yet another case?
No, Judge. She's indicated he doesn't want to come to court for the reading.
Okay, well, he's currently out on PTR case number 19 CT 2040. I would be revoking that bond. There would be no bond set at this time in that case. On the new case, I find probable cause for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. Bond is set at $1,000. Do you know, counsel, if he was requesting the assistance of a public defender or if he was hiring a private attorney?
Judge, he's requesting the public defender's office represent him.
Okay. I don't have any income verification. Do you know if he's eligible?
My understanding is he's homeless.
All right, then you are appointed counsel to represent him. Okay, the next case I have is Tabita Martin.
Judge, he's also indicated he does not want to be present, so I'll waive his appearance.
Is he eligible for the services of a public defender? Because I don't have any information.
Yes, Judge.
All right, I will appoint the public defender. The charge is false imprisonment against the victim's will. I do find probable cause for the arrest. Bond has been set at $3,000. Should also have added no contact with the victim. However, Mr. Martin was currently out on bond in case number 18 CF 5095, and that bond will be revoked. The next case I have is Jesus Manuel Wilkerson.
Judge, he does not wish to be present, so I'll waive his appearance. Also, he wants to waive the reading of the charges.
Do you know if Mr. Wilkerson is eligible for the services of a public defender?
We don't know at this time, Judge, but what I would suggest is you appoint the public defender's office temporarily until we can get him to fill out an affidavit of insolvency.
Okay. All right. On a temporary basis, Mr. Wilkerson will be appointed to the services of the public defender, and I do find probable cause for the charges which have been requested not to be read. There is no bond set on all four. Okay, I got a note here regarding a request to amend. The next thing I have is a request to amend an IA order from yesterday. They were brought in by the Haines City Police, but would be under Polk County jurisdiction. Darius Anderson, Courtney Blake, and Vascon Walker. Would you amend those accordingly then? Okay. Why would there have to be an amended order? Oh, okay. Didn't I already do this, Alex Barrios? I'm not sure. If I did not, from yesterday, there was a case, 2019 MM 2241, and I had revoked the bond because of a new charge, and the state has filed a no information, so on 19 MM 2241, it should be an ROR if it's not already been done, to reflect that there's no longer that issue. And I think that's it for Osceola.
Yes, Judge, that's all the cases.
All right, thank you.
Interpreter's ready, Your Honor.
Up back there, and you got deputies back there.
Okay.
The weekends, there's nobody else coming.
Before we get started, and I do see some people
It's
sitting with us. Good
understandable,
morning.
but-
I'm Judge Bell. I'm here for initial appearances, the proceedings being recorded. For the record, would the attorneys please announce their names?
Paul William McBride on behalf of the state of Florida.
Courtney Daly on behalf of the Public Defender's Office.
Okay. Attorney Daly, did you have an opportunity to review the charging documents?
Yes, I did.
Okay. In my review, with the exception of one case, which when I get to, I'll call up, I found probable cause in all the other cases. And when I get to that one case, I will give the state a chance to supplement the record.
Okay.
Okay? If there's anything else that you, either one of you see in advance that you want me to direct my attention to or re-review, please let me know.
I didn't see
Okay?
any issues.
Okay. Okay, well, let's go ahead and we'll get started. All right, all right.
Ye-
All right, I'll start from the top and hope that I have the right person. Is this Mr. Orlan Ramos Navarro?
Sí, me llamo Orly Miguel Ramos Navarro.
Yes, my name is Miguel Orlin Navarro.
All right. Sir, I do find that there's probable cause to support your arrest on the charges of robbery, sudden snatching, and battery domestic violence. Is there anybody sitting here today or in the waiting area today that might be involved in this case?
Your Honor, could the interpreter announce that over, just in case it's the other person is somebody who can't speak English?
¿Hay alguna persona aquí presente en el día de hoy que sea la alegada víctima que tenga algo que ver con el caso de este señor?
La mera verdad, yo,
Vamos-
I'll hear from both attorneys.
Your Honor, we just ask that you set a reasonable bond at this time. He has 5 misdemeanor convictions.
Your Honor, the state would request no contact as well as no weapons, firearms, in light of the fact that we don't have a victim here.
In regard to the charge of robbery, sudden snatching, I will assess a bond of $1,000. On count 2, battery, domestic violence, $500 plus once a week, face-to-face PTR. At this time, there will be no contact with the alleged victim identified as Graciela J. Tovar Morin until there's a further order of the court. See if the affidavit's attached. I don't have an affidavit attached. Is this gentleman eligible for the services of a public defender?
I don't know, I don't have that information.
Let me ask the interpreter, is there an interpreter also available to ask?
Yeah, she's.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, would you ask this gentleman if he is employed at this time?
Sí, yo estoy trabajando.
Yes, I am working.
Necesito trabajar para ayudar a mis hijos, como tengo dos hijos con Graciela.
Yes, I need to be able to work so that I can support my 2 children. I do have 2 children with Graciela.
Ajá, porque yo le...
Sir, I just want to have an idea of how much money you earn because I'm trying to determine if you meet the criteria for appointment of a public defender or if you're retaining a private attorney.
Yo por semana gano $600 a $800.
Weekly, I earn between $600 and $800.
He be eligible, Madam?
Sí, tengo 2 niños.
Yes, I do have 2 children.
Tengo que ayudar a...
Are you under a child support order, though?
No, no estoy pagando nada.
I will
Yo-
temporarily appoint the public defender for pending further investigation.
Okay.
Okay? I was doing that on count 2, the domestic violence. I did a bond on count 1, but no, he wouldn't qualify. All right, well, count 1's $1,000. Count 2 will be $500. There's to be absolutely no contact. This is charged as a felony. All right, public defender's appointed.
Your Honor, the state would also request no weapons or firearms.
Well, that's all included in the no contact
Oh,
order, which he's
right.
just signed. Do you need me to read the no contact order so you know how many things are actually involved in it?
No,
When I
I'm
say
aware.
no contact, it encompasses everything. Absolutely no contact, not through third parties, not through spirits, not through dogs, not through cats, no weapons, no nothing. No contact, no texting, no emailing, no blogging, no posting on Facebook, no asking anybody else to post on Facebook. Should I continue? No weapons of any kind. Is it understood?
Sí, entiendo eso.
Yes, I understand that.
All right, we'll call the next case.
Gracias.
Thank you. La próxima persona, póngase los audífonos, por favor.
Is this Benjamin Velez Gonzalez?
Sí, Benjamín Valdés González.
Yes, Benjamin Valdez Gonzalez.
All right, sir, you have been charged with battery, domestic violence. Is anybody here in regard to this case? Because it is my understanding that the victim wishes prosecution.
¿Hay alguna persona presente que esté relacionado con este caso?
Sí.
I'll hear from both sides in regard to this case.
Your Honor, we just ask that you set a reasonable bond. He does not qualify for PTR.
Your Honor, the state, as always, requests no contact.
would you hand me an extra no contact order? Would you hand me one in English, please? All right, sir. I'm going to enter, there is probable cause to support your arrest on the charge of battery, domestic violence. I will afford you a bond of $500, but there's to be absolutely no contact with the victim. And when I say no contact, let me start from the top. No in-person, no face-to-face. You can't contact the victim, you can't write the victim, you can't telephone the victim, you can't page the victim, you can't fax or text the victim, you can't email the victim, you can't leave any notes, cards, or other items for the victim anywhere. You can't go anywhere near a car. You can't have any communicate with your children. You can't send any messages through your children or through friends or anything else. Do you understand? No contact for me means no contact. And the provision
Sí,
should
yo
also
entiendo,
include
pero
no
lo
weapon.
que pasa es
Yes,
que
I
ella vive en mi-
understand.
ella vive en mi casa, yo le puse una
But she
orden de
lives in my
restricción.
house.
Well, you're not
I
going.
had
You're not
I
going
had an
there.
injunction against her.
You're not going there. Do you understand? You go there, you will come back here, and you will have no bond. Do you understand?
Oh, no, sí, de eso entiendo. Solamente yo le quería dejar saber que yo he ido a la corte para ver si la podía desalojar de mi casa, porque es una persona que hace droga y...
Yes, I understand, but I just wanted to let you know, I had gone to court to try to get her
Okay,
out of my
sir.
house because she's a person that does
Sir.
drugs.
Sir, I am letting you know what I am doing today on a charge of battery domestic violence. If you do not comply with what I'm doing, I will issue a warrant and have you arrested. Do you understand?
Sí, entiendo.
Yes, I understand.
No contact order.
Should we advise all of the people have those no contacts ordered in advance and gave them to them when they first came?
I know, but I'm going to tell you that your no contact order is not anywhere near as complete as mine. I should make sure that you have a copy of mine. Hmm? Yes, I appointed the public. Is this Mr. Wesley Cruz?
Sí.
Yes.
All right. Sir, I find probable cause for your arrest on 2 cases. The first case is possession of tetrahydrocannabinols, and the bond is set at $1,000. The second case is operating a motor vehicle without having a valid driver's license, and the bond in that case is set at $500. Are you seeking the services of a public defender to represent you, or are you going to retain the services of your own attorney?
No, un abogado de ustedes.
One of your attorneys.
All right, can you give me an idea of your income, sir?
Como 500 semanales.
About 500 a week.
All right. Are you on child support?
Yo tengo un de acuerdo con ella y sí, le paso pensión a mi hijo.
I have an agreement with her, and I do pay her support for my son.
Or temporarily appoint the public defender pending further verification of your eligibility?
Would Your Honor be inclined to give straight PTR? He has no criminal history
No.
according to the face sheet. Okay.
Sir, could you identify yourself, please?
Pedro Roilan Aguilar Sanchez.
Pedro Roilan Aguilar Sanchez.
Mr. Aguilar Sanchez, I find probable cause for your arrest on the following charges: driving under the influence and operating a motor vehicle without having a valid license. The bond is set at the driving under the influence at $500, on the no valid DL at $100. Are you requesting the services of a public defender, or are you anticipating hiring an attorney yourself?
Yo quiero pagar la fianza.
I want to pay the bond.
Let's go.
On all of these cases, no alcohol consumption and DUIs are not to be permitted in actual physical control of any motor vehicle.
Sí, quiero contratar mi propio abogado.
Yes, I want to hire my own attorney.
Okay. Refuse the services of the public defender, hiring his own attorney. You're not permitted to be in actual physical control of any motor vehicle unless and until you obtain a license, and there's to be no alcohol consumption.
That's fine.
Okay. Would you please state your name for the record?
Joel Vázquez Pérez.
Joel Vasquez Perez.
All right. Sir, I have two matters in front of me in regard to your case today. The new charge is operating a motor vehicle without having a valid license. I find probable cause, and bond is set at $500. However, you have a violation of probation in a felony case, 17 CF 12487, and there's no bond in that case. Do you want to be evaluated for the services of a public defender?
Sí.
Do you have any income?
Yes.
Do you have any income at this time, sir?
Sí.
Yes.
Give me an idea of your income, please.
1,200 semanal.
1,200 a week.
Okay, sir, at $1,200 a week, you're not eligible for the services of a public defender, but I would recommend that you do consult with an attorney in regard to the matters in front of me. That's all we're going to do for today, and good luck.
What?
Public defender...
Can I say something?
No, sir, it's in your best interest not to.
Lo mejor es que en este momento no diga nada.
Counsel, I don't have financial affidavits on people.
They didn't give you any of them? Not for Spanish. Yeah, usually they don't for Spanish, 'cause I don't know if they have Spanish.
Okay.
think
I
this
just
is-
wanted you to know, that's why I keep asking.
No, I think it happens a lot with the interpreter cases.
Okay. All right. The next person I have is Vero Antonor.
I believe he speaks Creole? Okay.
Oh,
Your Honor, I believe that's all for the Spanish interpreter, correct?
no, they're saying Creole.
Yes.
I don't speak Creole. That would be language line.
All right, she's trying to reach language line now.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day. I will disconnect.
But you'll come back if we need you.
For who? The Spanish?
Do we have any more Spanish cases? Okay,
No.
thank you.
Thank you.
if we continue to have problems, we'll put this towards the end so that we can at least move along.
That's all right.
Ma'am, do you also need an interpreter?
No.
You don't need an interpreter?
No.
You need an interpreter?
Yes.
Okay. Try now? Try now? Okay. Ma'am, please have a seat. All right, sir, can I have your name for the record, please?
Brad Aubrey.
All right, Mr. Aubrey. I do find probable cause to support your arrest on the following charges: escape, tampering with physical
False.
evidence, resisting officer without violence, and littering. You were initially assessed no bond. I will give you a bond. Count one, $2,500.
I only have $20.
Count two, 150.
You're
Count
lying.
three, 150, and count four, $50.
Life doesn't agree with you.
I
May I
will-
leave now?
I will
Thank you.
appoint a
Sound.
public defender to represent you.
Very good. False.
All right.
I'm out and you're dead.
Jennifer Murphy, that gentleman can be returned back outside because we're having too much trouble. We're going to take all the other cases. Would you please state your name for the record?
Jennifer Murphy.
All right, ma'am, you have been charged with battery. Is there anybody here in regard to Jennifer Murphy's case? Bond has already been set, and I do find probable cause in an amount of $500. No contact with the victim, public defenders appointed. The bond was already set.
Your Honor, the state would also request a no return. Looks like this was at a 7-Eleven
Well, no
business.
contact means no contact. All right, put down no return to the scene. Sir, can I have your name, please?
Jamal Hassan Cokely.
Mr. Cokely, you were charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Is there anybody here in regard to Mr. Cokely today?
No, Your Honor, the only ones out there is for the DDs.
Okay. There were victims involved in this case, that's why I'm asking. Okay. Bond has been set at $3,500. There to be no contact with any of the victims involved. There are to be no weapons. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. It's probable cause. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Mitchell Ortega.
Is anybody here in regard to Mitchell Ortega? Mr. Ortega, I do find probable cause to support your arrest on a charge of battery against your girlfriend.
Yes.
Do you want to swear her in?
Raise your right hand. Do you
swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Patricia Warner.
All right, and what is your relationship to the defendant, Mitchell Artea?
Girlfriend.
Okay. What did you want the court to know?
It really was just a simple misunderstanding. That it was, the police were originally called just to settle out the argument, and it was just more of it wasn't really what it turned out to be.
I know that you care for this gentleman, but I don't think there's anything simple about being, punched in the face and having your lip busted.
It wasn't punched, ma'am. I was in his face. He just pushed me back to get him, me out of his face. It was not being punched at all.
Okay, it's very different than the initial report. However, I do hear what you're saying. All right, sir, I will give you a bond. There's to be no hostile contact.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean it.
Yes, ma'am.
No alcohol consumption also. I mean that too.
Yes, ma'am.
It's going to be $500 once a week, face-to-face PTR, so they can check you to see if you're drinking. No
Yes, ma'am.
drinking.
Your Honor, I know the court has made a ruling. I'd just like to place an objection on the record to there not being a full no contact in light of the fact that this defendant does have previous arrest history in the area of domestic violence.
Ma'am, do you promise me that you'll call the police if anything else happens?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. You got it?
Okay.
Can I have your name, please?
Jason Cornelius.
Mr. Cornelius, I find probable cause for your arrest on the following charges: possession of a firearm and commission of a felony, carrying a concealed weapon, falsely impersonating an officer, carrying a concealed weapon, unlawfully possessing concealed handcuff keys, unlawfully possessing concealed handcuff keys. I will give you a bond at this time. In regard to count one, it will be $5,000. Regard to count two, 500. Regard to count three, 500. Regard to count four, 500. Regard to count five, 150. Regard to count six, 150. I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
All right, thank you.
And sir, can I have your name, please?
Anthony Lorenzo Johnson.
All right, Mr. Johnson, I do find probable cause to support your arrest on the following charges. Attempted robbery, bond's been set at $1,000, and battery, bond's been set at $100. There looks like there could be some underlying cases. Let me take a look at those. On these, I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Is it correct that he's currently out on bond for at least one case? Let me see. I looked at the underlying cases. I won't do anything in regard to those bonds.
You can bond out, because she didn't correct the bond.
Can I ask a question, Your Honor?
Sir, I don't know that that's in your best interest unless you talk to your lawyer.
That you want, they're not gonna give you a,
This is, oh, it's a felony.
yes. I'll do my best.
Can I have your name, please?
Yes, ma'am. Randall Colin McCollum.
Mr. McCollum, you're out on a surety bond for battery,
Yes, ma'am.
and now you've been charged with disorderly conduct.
Disorderly conduct. None of it was panhandling.
It's under subsection K.
Well, I read it,
Yes.
okay? And I think there's a factual basis, and the bond's set at $250. Because of the nature of this charge, though, I won't revoke your first bond, okay?
You going to?
She's not.
Oh, okay, thank you.
But you have $250 on this. Do you want the public defender appointed to represent you?
She's asking if you want a public defender.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I'd like to resolve this if I can.
Okay, I can't resolve the battery.
You're right.
State you have any offer for him? You can't be in the street blocking people in these major roadways from going through a green light. It's not the place to be asking for money, okay? You're gonna get killed.
Your Honor, the state's offered the adjudication in 4 days in jail.
State's offers for an adjudication of guilt in 4 days in the Orange County Jail. Do you want to take it, sir? Counsel, he can have a seat. I want to get to the other cases.
He wants to resolve it. He wants to
All right.
accept the state's offer.
Please give me a plea form, please. Just leave this alone. Just leave this alone. We're going to plead this case out. Okay. Sir, to the charge of disorderly conduct, how do you plea or answer?
I'm pleading guilty.
Do you understand by entering a guilty plea today that you're waiving the constitutional rights on your plea form?
Let's reset this for tomorrow.
I want to resolve it.
Then you need to answer the question, sir, or you need to go on the trial docket. Do you hear what I'm saying? If you are confused at all, please meet with your attorney.
What's confusing?
You want me to roll the case till tomorrow, counsel, and you can review the document? All right, review we have, sir, you're not the only person here today, okay? We'll roll your case till tomorrow. I want you to understand what you're doing. You appear to be very confused. I want you to talk to your lawyer. The case will be rolled until tomorrow for a possible plea. Do you want me to give you the whole packet? Public defender. Ma'am, would you please give me your name?
Sharon Mac.
Okay, wait a minute. The next person I had was Molly Hunt.
She's behavior, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
Behavior?
Okay. Would you roll her till tomorrow? All right. I'm sorry, ma'am. Did you say Sharon Mac?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anybody here in regard to Sharon Mac?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I do find probable cause for your arrest on the charge of aggravated battery. I have read the full report. I will give you a bond. The bond will be $3,500, no contact with Darnell Shellman, who's the alleged victim. I don't have any yes, I do have information. I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
Where do I go, ma'am?
Ma'am, I'm going to have you speak to your attorney later on, okay? All right. The next person I have is Nelson Nieves.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is anybody here in regard to Mr. Nieves? No? Right. I do find probable cause to support your arrest on the following charges: aggravated assault with a motor vehicle, possession of cannabis, possession of drug paraphernalia, attempted the destruction of evidence, and violation of a domestic violence injunction. Let me hear from the attorneys.
Your Honor, we just ask that you set a reasonable bond in this case. He doesn't have any Florida history, but he does have out-of-state convictions.
Your Honor, again, as we don't have a victim here, the state would at minimum request no contact, no weapons or firearms. The facts at issue here are extremely serious. The allegations on count one particularly, the state would request a bond in the amount of $25,000 for count one with nominal bonds for the remaining.
Your Honor, I don't.
My greatest concern was count number 5, the violation of the injunction.
Yes. I don't think a $25,000 bond is appropriate. I'll meet in
No,
the middle.
typically on an aggravated assault with a motor vehicle, it's $2,500.
Yes.
But I want to know what your both understanding is for violation of the DV injunction.
Generally, the bond is set at $1,000. If there's aggravating circumstances, sometimes the court can go a bit higher than that.
All right, I'm going to do the following. Count 1, aggravated assault with a motor vehicle, $2,500. Possession of cannabis, $150. Possession of drug paraphernalia, $150. Attempted destruction of evidence, $150. Violation of the domestic injunction, $1,000. I'll appoint the public defender. No contact order.
Yes, you can bond out.
Is this Mr. Pierre Sanchez Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am.
I do find probable cause to support your arrest on the charges of aggravated assault with a motor vehicle and battery domestic violence. Is there anybody here in regard to Pierre Sanchez Rodriguez? No. All right, I will set bond on count number 1. It's going to be $2,500. Absolutely no contact. Under no circumstances, and no contact means everything that you can think of for no contact. Both attorneys, do I need to repeat the provisions for no contact each and every time? Or is
No.
everybody clearly understanding? Counsel, you've explained all of that to your clients, right?
Yes.
Okay. And on the battery count, $500, and again, no contact. Probable cause is established, the public defender is appointed. All right, would you please state your name for the record?
Christine Crossman.
All right, Ms. Crossman, I find this probable cause to support your arrest on the charge of battery domestic violence against your boyfriend, who I think has just walked into the box.
Yeah, I'm her husband.
Husband.
We just got married 1 month ago.
All right, let me have him sworn in.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Robert Randall.
All right, and Mr. Randall, you are the husband and alleged victim, correct?
Correct.
All right, what did you want the court to know?
I love my wife. It was an isolated incident. This has never happened before, and I do want contact with her, and yeah, I love her.
Okay. Is she eligible for PTR?
I'll also note she has no criminal history per her face sheet.
All right, I'll put you on PTR, face-to-face once a week, but you're going to be, no alcohol consumption, do you understand? And that you can be routinely tested for that, and no hostile contact with him.
I understand.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Okay? Just 1 second, sir. All right. Sir, would you state your name for the record?
My name's Benjamin Homewood.
All right. Mr. Homewood, you have been charged with battery, domestic violence. The victim's name is Valerie. Is she here?
I don't believe so.
Mr. Homewood, I do find probable cause to support your arrest on this charge. I will give you a bond, $500, face-to-face once a week, PTR, no consumption of alcohol whatsoever, and no contact with Valerie.
Yes,
At least
ma'am.
not at this time, unless and until the court amends the order, okay?
Your Honor, he doesn't qualify for PTR, he lives in Colorado.
All right, $500. I would like to impose scram, but I'm concerned that you probably can't afford it, but if I find out you're drinking or anything else, your attorney will tell you, you're going to be in front of me. She'll tell you exactly what will happen.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Once you find out,
Okay.
you have some papers for you to sign.
$500, no contact, no alcohol consumption.
Your Honor,
What do you want? Counsel, it's not going to get any better than that. Would you please state your name for the record?
Cheyenne Hutchins.
Ms. Hutchins, I do find this probable cause to support your arrest on the charges of battery and resisting officer. It looks like somebody's come into the box, so let's find out who this is and have him
Raise your
sworn in.
hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Michael Grossman.
All right, and what is your relationship, sir?
Boyfriend, Your Honor.
Okay, what is it that you wanted the court to know?
The incident was a misunderstanding. It was an isolated incident. I care very much for the defendant and am absolutely comfortable with having contact with her.
This narrative is rather messy. Is there anything we can do to make sure something like this doesn't happen again?
Again, Your Honor, it was a fairly isolated incident. There was something which occurred personally that I was upset about, and I believe the officers misinterpreted what happened.
Anything from the state?
Your Honor, she qualifies for pretrial release, and look, according to her face sheet, I don't see any criminal history. Someone correct me if I'm wrong now.
Is that correct? All right, I'll put you on PTR, face-to-face once a week. No hostile contact. This situation is kind of messy. I don't care how many people are there in that residence or what, no hostile contact. Okay? Is she eligible for the public defender?
I don't know.
I don't have a financial affidavit. Do you have any income?
Do you have a job?
No.
Your Honor, if I may, she's has private counsel. Joe Knapp will be representing her.
I know Joe very well. He didn't file any paperwork, though. That's who's going to be hired?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, well, I guess see you soon.
Yeah, go ahead.
May be excused, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. No, I didn't say anything. She wasn't drinking. Private attorney, no hostile contact. Once a week, PTR. Can I have your name, please?
My name Jamal Jarvis.
Mr. Jarvis, I find probable cause for your arrest on the charge of battery, dating violence. I do know that you were rather forthright. I've read the narrative. You were forthright with the officers when they were there. I was hoping that the victim would attend. Let me hear from both sides.
Your Honor, it doesn't look like he qualifies for PTR. It looks like he's on juvenile probation, so I guess that's why they didn't qualify him. I asked you set a $500 bond.
Okay, but there's going to be a no contact order?
Yes, of course.
Entered to? No weapons or anything else. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Public defenders appointed, $500 bond, no contact. to include no weapons, etc. I gotta give you guys my full no contact order. Okay. Sir, could I please have your name?
My name is Gilles Neil.
All right, Mr. Neal, you were charged with battery domestic violence, and I was hoping that the alleged victim, Tamika, would also come in here. I think that, were they both charged?
They might have sent a non-arrest packet to the SAO. That's usually what they do. It would be at the bottom of the narrative.
There is probable cause. It's going to be on the other one, too. Recommendations, folks?
We'd ask for a $500 bond. He doesn't qualify for PTR.
The state would again request no contact without her being here.
You can't have any contact, at least until another court revisits this case with Shamika, okay? $500, no contact, no weapons. Is he eligible for the services of the public defender?
Do you have any income?
Yes, I got just say,
You get
on the
disability?
information.
I have his thing right here. Do you want me to approach?
Well, wait a minute, I'm appointing the public defender. There
Okay.
is something attached. Can I have your name, please?
Dutch Andre Elsie.
All right, sir. Sir, you've been out on bond for trespass in the structure, and you've now been charged with, and I find probable cause for attempted burglary of a dwelling. Bond is set at $1,000. I will appoint the public defender, but I am revoking your ROR on the trespass case. You'll have to go in front of the felony court again to see if they'll consider another bond. Public defender is appointed to represent you.
Tell your attorney.
Can I have your name, please?
Justin Barnes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Barnes, you were transported from Cook County, Illinois to,
I was
okay. You were transported from out of this area to here because of a felony warrant. There's a felony warrant for 2 counts of burglary of a dwelling, burglary of a structure, grand theft third degree, and petty theft. Bonds have been set. 5,000 count 1, 2,500 count 2, 1,000 count 3, 500 count 4. Do you want me to appoint a public defender to represent you?
Yes, please.
Okay, do you have any income at this time?
No, ma'am.
All right, public defender is appointed to represent you. Probable cause is found. Can I have,
Wait, which one? Am I doing this one?
yes.
Okay.
Can you tell me who you are, ma'am?
Bruno Aponte.
All right, Mrs. Bruno Aponte, you've been charged with possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia, and I do find probable cause to support your arrest on the possession of methamphetamine, bond set at $1,000, count 1, count 2, $500. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. Okay. The Melissa Daniels is not coming, right? And Michael Dozier is not coming?
Refuse, Your Honor.
Pardon?
Refuse.
Okay, so they'll go till tomorrow.
And Mr. Dozier, we need a 24-hour visit after he comes from medical.
Can I have your name, please?
Kamla Figueroa.
All right, ma'am, let me tell you why you're being held at this time. You have 2 warrants for failures to appear. The first one was failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance, 2 counts, felony, and there's no bond in those cases. And then there was failure to appear in Division 17, possession of controlled substance, drug paraphernalia, and possession of marijuana. In both cases, the judge did not enter an order of no bond. I will appoint a public defender to represent you if you don't already have one. All right, the next case says behavior, so I guess Clifford Gray is not coming, right?
Clifford Gray's behavior, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Can I have your name for the record, please?
John Green.
All right, Mr. Green, you've been charged with the following: possession of less than 20 grams of cannabis, driving while licensed, suspended post-classification as a habitual traffic offender, possession of cocaine, possession of methamphetamine, and attempted unlocking possession of concealed handcuff key. I find this probable cause to support your arrest. You have been assessed bonds as follows: on the driving while licensed, suspended post-habitualization, $2,500, the cannabis, $100, cocaine, $150, methamphetamine, $150, and the handcuff key, $150. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. Thank you. Wait a minute, I think there might be a no, that's. Can I have your name, please?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Renata Hoppy Green.
Ma'am, I do find probable cause for your arrest on the charge of grand theft, motor vehicle, and possession of a controlled substance. Bond was set at $1,000 on count 1 and $1,000 on count 2. However, you were currently out ROR on possession of methamphetamines, introduction of contraband into county facility, possession of drug paraphernalia, and false reports.
Could I be heard on that? No information's been filed, and she was arrested on April 17th. It's been over.
On all
30
of those?
Yes.
All right, then I won't do anything on that. Do you want a public defender appointed for this new case?
Yes, ma'am. I greatly appreciate it.
Public defender is appointed to represent you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
I need your name, please.
Tell your name.
Yousef Hassan.
All right, sir. And there's somebody here also. Right now, I have in front of me, sir, a felony case number, and I do find probable cause to support your arrest for hit and run, failing to remain at a crash involving serious bodily injury, DUI and serious bodily injury, hit and run involving damage, and DUI damage to person and property. There's somebody standing here. Will you please swear him in?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Dennis Brantley.
I'm sorry, sir, I couldn't hear you.
Dennis Brantley.
And Mr. Brantley, what's your relationship to this case?
The victim is my daughter.
Okay, what did you want the court to know?
Briefly, Your Honor, I have a very short statement, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Our sweet child is a senior at the University of Central Florida. Instead of our family coming together to celebrate her next visit home, we were huddled in an Orlando hospital. Our daughter is in ICU in extremely critical condition. She is missing parts of her skull, and her brain matter was splattered on the car that hit her. She has broken legs, and her right eye could not be found. She is currently being kept alive by a respirator and is in a coma. Her survival does not appear likely, and if that occurs, we are informed that this case will become a homicide. We are informed and believe the accused has an extensive criminal record, including violence and weapons. Our family is further informed and believes that the accused left the scene of at least 2 crime scenes on Friday night and has demonstrated a willful intent to inflict bodily harm and is a flight risk. Our family pleads with the court to deny bond and to prevent this monster from harming anyone else as we await the judicial process.
Let me hear from the attorneys.
Your Honor, these are not punishable by life nor capital offenses. He's entitled to a bond. We ask that you set a reasonable bond with reasonable release conditions.
Understand, sir, if this is not, and I'm very sorry to hear what's happened. And I'm not saying that these charges may not be upgraded, but I have to go on the basis of what is here today. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Anything from the state?
Your Honor, while counsel is correct that these are not punishable by life and thus he cannot be held no bond under the law, the state would request the highest permissible bond that the court would be willing to put in this case in light of the facts and in light of, as Mr. Brantley alluded to, something that I was going to mention, the fact that it appears that he actually fled from 2 scenes of accidents while under the influence of alcohol.
Count 2 will be $10,000 plus scram monitoring. Count 1, 500. Count 3, 500. Count 4, 500. Vehicle to be surrendered. Not permitted to be in actual physical control of anything that has a motor. And you are going to be required at the first time you see your judge to show that you've had scram attached. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. If you don't, it will be a violation. You'll be immediately incarcerated.
Yes, Bond's gonna be able to help you.
I wrote it all down. Scram, S-C-R-A-M. Put it on every charge. It's only going to be one device, but put it on every charge.
You guys are equipped for that, right? Like you guys give directions.
Would you please state your name for the record?
John King.
Mr. King, the reason you're being held today, sir, is for a felony violation, pretrial release, and there's no bond. If the public defender hasn't already been appointed, the public defender is appointed to represent you. Can I have your name, please?
Josué Lebron.
Mr. LeBron, do you speak English?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. LeBron, I find that there's probable cause to support your arrest on the charges possession of heroin and possession of drug paraphernalia. Bond has been set on count 1 at $1,000 and count 2 at $100. I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
Thank you.
Can I have your name, please?
Giselle Mejias Castañeda.
All right. Ms. Mejia, you have been, I find probable cause to support your arrest on a charge of grand theft. Motor vehicle, bond is set at $1,000. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Can I have your name, please?
Yes, ma'am. It's Milan Benhome.
All right, ma'am, I find probable cause to support your arrest on the charges of fraudulent use of credit cards, grand theft third degree, and introducing contraband in a county facility. Count 1, bond $7,000. Count 2, 150. Count 3, 150. Count 4, 150. You're currently out on bond, surety bond, for both petty theft and possession of drug paraphernalia. You also have a notice to appear issued on yet another petty theft. I won't do anything in regard to the notice to appear, but the surety bond in 19 CF 8986 is revoked. There'll be no bond issued in that case. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. That's all we're doing for today.
I'm gonna have your attorney come see you, okay? I'm gonna have an attorney come see you. I'm gonna let him know you're here. Go ahead.
No, I said nothing on this notice to appear one. On the second one, revoke the bonds. I wrote it up here, revoked. No bond now. I need your name, please.
Tell your name.
Courtney Moves.
All right, Mr. Mills, I do find probable cause to support your arrest on the charges of grand theft and resisting officer without violence. This is an incident that stemmed from something that happened at Walmart. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. Count one, bond is set at $500. Count two, $100, but there'll be no return to Walmart. Can I have your name, please?
Barkley Muller.
All right, Mr. Muller, yours is the case that I had a question about. Only in regard to the new case. You're currently out on surety bonds for two cases. Driving while license suspended as a habitual offender. Driving while license suspended as a habitual offender in possession of cocaine. The new case, when I reviewed the affidavit, I cannot find probable cause for the stop of this vehicle. So I'm going to give the state 24 hours to supplement the record. So I'm going to ask that this case be rolled till tomorrow.
Your Honor, you're mentioning a number of cases. I only have one in front of me. Does he have more than one this morning?
Well, he's out on bond on some other cases. So
I understand.
They
Okay.
attach those. The case that I'm talking about that I don't see the probable cause for the stop is 2019 CF 8983AO, and I'm giving the state 24 hours to supplement the record.
Your Honor, what I see in the affidavit is that law enforcement pulled him over due to the fact that he had a cracked windshield.
Yeah, that's a problem. But nothing further, that's a problem.
All right.
It doesn't sound like it can be cured. We'll just object for the record.
Pardon?
I said it doesn't sound like something that can be cured, but we'll just object for the record. I understand the court's ruling.
It can, depending upon what other facts there are involved.
Understood.
Ma'am, can I have your name, please?
Christina Ricci.
Ms. Reese, I find probable cause for your arrest on the charge of attempted burglary of a dwelling. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. Bond is set at $1,000. Good luck.
Okay. I have a question. This can't be resolved?
Not today.
No?
Not this type of charge.
Simple.
Hey, ma'am, can I have your name, please? Ma'am?
Tell your name.
Enid Rojas.
All right, Mrs. Rojas, I find probable cause for your arrest on the charges of battery on a licensed security officer and petty theft. Bond on count one is set at $2,500. Count two, $100, and you can't return to the 7-Eleven at 1 North Roslyn Avenue. I will appoint the public defender to represent you.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I have your name, please, sir?
Mentor Salcida.
I'm sorry, sir?
Mentor Salcida.
Okay. Sir, you understand English well
Yes,
enough?
ma'am.
Okay. Sir, I have two cases in front of me. One is a felony and one is a misdemeanor. The felony case, CF 8971, I find probable cause for your arrest on the charge of possession of cocaine, and bond is set at $1,000. The second case, 19 CT 748 AO, I find probable cause for your arrest on the charge of driving while license suspended with your knowledge, and bond is set at $500. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. That's all we'll be doing for today. The next case is medical,
Yes, medical for Ms. Smith, Victoria.
and Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Hoffner.
I have,
24 hours after we get out of medical.
okay.
Christian Arroyo that bonded, Your Honor.
My next case was Derek Johnson.
Okay, he's right.
Sir, would you state your name for the record, please?
Derek Johnson.
All right, Mr. Johnson, I find probable cause for your arrest on the charge no valid driver's license. Bond is set at $500. However, I am aware that you're out on bond for that charge, as well as possession of marijuana and possession of drug paraphernalia in case number 19 CT 1350, and I'm revoking that bond. Public defender is appointed to represent you. And he cannot be in actual physical control of any motor vehicle unless or until he obtains a valid license. Is that on that paperwork anywhere? Sir, can I have your name, please?
Timothy Davis.
All right, Mr. Davis, you were charged with trespass, and I do find probable cause to support your arrest for that charge. Bond is set at $500, and a public defender is appointed to represent you.
Mr. Davis asked me if he could resolve his case today. Is there an offer from the state?
I don't know, this might be a good time for me to take a brief recess, and you can discuss it with the case.
Sure.
The state? bond. All right, so was his case then already set?
I think you set the bond at $500.
It is $500, and let me
PD
see, and you were appointed he's appointed a public defender and probably
Yeah.
cause was. All right,
They said no. We'll come see you.
can I have your name, please?
Embryilo Morocco, a maximum proper persona surgeries. Cal
What happened
Miguel
to-
Douglas.
I'm looking for Calvin Miguel Douglas, is that you?
Ma'am, I'm here representing this account.
May-
My name
may
is
I
Embryilo
approach?
Morocco, a maximum proper persona surgeries. I'm here to represent this account.
Your Honor, can I approach?
You know,
Okay.
I've plenty in several documents to the.
Okay. All right, so let me tell you why you're here. I find probable cause on the following charges for your arrest: public order, crimes, misuse of the 911 system, bond is set at $500, resisting officer without violence, bond set at $500. But you were already out on bond for resisting officer without violence and possession of marijuana, and I'm revoking that bond.
Your
Public
Honor.
defender is appointed to represent you. That's all we're going to do. Good luck today,
Your Honor, I
sir.
have courts in the doc, in the,
All right, good luck.
Calvin, take your papers.
Okay, go around to the desk. Go on with this. Hello.
All right, sir, can I have your name, please?
Mondo Gray.
Mr. Gray, you were charged with trespass on property after warning. I do find there was probable cause for your arrest for this charge. Bond is set at $500. Do you want me to appoint a public defender to represent you?
No, I'm gonna plea out to it.
All right, sir, you can't return to the Wawa, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And he indicated he does not want the services of the public defender.
Yes. Go on to the desk. Don't hold this door. I was warned.
Can I have your name, please?
Robert Patrick Shalom.
What happened to Mr. Green?
Bonded, Your Honor.
Bonded? All right, I'm sorry, sir. What did you say your name was?
Robert Patrick Shalom.
Shannon?
Yep.
All right, sir, you were charged with, and I find probable cause for your arrest for disturbing the peace at a public lodging, specifically the Rosen Hotel, and trespass on property after warning. Bond is set at $1,000 on each count. I will appoint the public defender to represent you.
Your Honor, on the second count, would you consider reducing it to $100 since he has no criminal history? Since he's from out of country, the bondsman won't.
Fairly
count.
significant narrative.
But I
I'll make it
understand.
500.
Thank you.
No return.
I'll have someone come see you, okay?
No return to the Rosen Hotel.
Okay.
Can I have your name, please?
Stephanie Michelle Valdez.
All right, I do find probable cause for your arrest on the charge of battery. Nobody here. Anything from either side?
Your Honor, we asked you set a reasonable bond, $500, I think is the scheduled bond for this type of charge.
All right, there's not going to be any return to Universal Studios Parkway.
I understand.
Universal Islands of Adventure.
Yes, ma'am.
No contact with any alleged victim. $500 bond. However, you're currently out on bond for petty theft with 2 prior convictions, and I'm revoking that bond.
It means you can't bond out. I'll have an attorney come see
Can I have your name, please?
Yes, ma'am. It's Mica Johnson.
What happened to Washington?
Refused.
Huh?
Refused, so just reset it, please.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. Refused. All right, did you say Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson, you're being held in Orange County right now for an out-of-county warrant in Hillsborough.
Yes, ma'am.
And Hillsborough County has up to 72 hours to come and get you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next one I have, it says refuse, David Allen.
Yes, Your Honor, refuse.
Can I have your name, please?
Donald Ayers.
Sir, you were charged, I met you yesterday, actually. You were charged with open container alcoholic beverage,
Yes, that's correct.
and you were appointed the public defender. What did you decide you want to do, sir?
Resolve the case today.
All right, let me have a plea form. I think your offer was 5 days?
I believe so, Your Honor, that's correct.
Oh, sorry. Sir, to the charge of open container alcohol, how do you plead?
I plead no contest.
And do you understand by entering your no contest plea today that you're waiving the constitutional rights on your plea form?
Yes,
Is this your signature?
yes,
Did you sign freely?
yes,
Anybody threaten you?
no,
Do you understand that you're giving up your right to challenge the state's evidence?
yes,
Do you understand that you're giving up your right to have a trial?
yes,
Do you understand you're being adjudicated guilty? That means you're being convicted of this charge.
yes,
Do you understand you're giving up your right to appeal any harmful error?
yes,
Do you understand if you're not a citizen, you will be subject to deportation?
yes, ma'am.
I need to know if you're under the influence today of alcohol, drugs, or medicine.
No,
Are you being treated for anything that's mental or emotional?
no,
Are you right now on probation for anything criminal?
no,
Are you satisfied with your lawyer?
yes.
In regard to this case, is there anything else you wanted her to do to defend this case?
She's asking if you wanted me to do anything else.
No, thank you.
Okay, any questions about the rights you're waiving or your penalties?
No, ma'am.
I accept your no contest plea. I find you freely, voluntarily, and intelligently have waived your rights. You're knowingly entering the plea. You do understand the nature of the charge and the consequences. After reviewing the charging documents, I find a factual basis and sentence you accordingly. To the charge of open container alcohol, court is adjudicating you guilty, sentencing you as follows: 5 days, OCJ, $50 public defender lien, $50 prosecution lien, $223 in court costs. Payment plan, $30 per month, plus a $5 monitoring fee. Okay, sir. The next one I have says mental health, Christopher Day.
Yes, sir. Orange Days Mental Health.
Okay. Can I have your name, please?
Miguel Morero.
Right. Mr. Marrero, the reason you're being held is a felony violation of probation, and your judge, Judge Kest, issued no bond. If you've not already been appointed a public defender, I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
That's good.
Can I have your name, please?
Natashka Rivera.
All right. The reason that you're being held right now at this time in the Orange County Jail, Ms. Rivera, is on out-of-county warrants. There's a violation of probation warrant from, has to do with an underlying charge of cocaine, and this, I believe, is out of Hillsborough. Let me double check. No, one is out of Orange County. The first one is out of Orange County, and there's a $10,000 bond on that. And then there's a second one, violation of probation. And that's Judge Lubick's case, and there's a $10,000 bond on that. Do you need a public defender appointed to represent you?
Yes.
All right, we'll appoint the public defender.
So just to be clear, one is 10,000 and one is none?
One is 10,000 and the second one's 10,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I have your name, please, sir?
Bowen.
Is your first name Charles?
Yes.
Mr. Bowen, you've been charged with camping in a prohibited location. You were charged with camping, let me see, I think this was the Lake Eola. Yeah, Lake Eola Park. Any offer from the state?
And the state's offers time served adjudication, Judge.
How many days does he have?
I don't know, is it 1 or 2?
There's one case. I signed it.
You would have 2 days, I believe,
And the
yesterday.
offer was 5, or is it credit time served?
2 days, time served?
Okay. Oh, he's already served.
United States citizen.
Yeah, you know what's going on here today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Bowen, to the
Yeah.
charge of camping in a prohibited location, how do you answer?
Well, I was sleeping, yeah.
All right, how do you answer?
Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contact.
All right, and do you understand by telling me no contest that you're waiving your constitutional rights?
Constitutional right. I got Constitution.
Everybody's got rights, you got them too.
Yeah, I got
She's
it.
asking if you understand that you're waiving them by entering this.
No, I want to waive them.
You want to waive them, or you don't want to waive
I
them?
don't want to waive them.
You're waiving them when you enter a plea.
All right, well then, sir, I gotta put you on the trial docket, okay?
Can we ask for a $100 bond or ROR in the alternative?
What's his history like?
I see 6 misdemeanor convictions and 1 failure to appear. The failure to appear was in 1996, per the face sheet.
For now, I'll make it a $50 bond. He may change his mind and want to resolve his case.
Yeah, they won't let him till it's filed on.
All right. Can I have your name, please?
Horace Evans.
All right, Mr. Evans, you have been charged with camping in a prohibited location, and I'm aware that you're out on bond for possession of cocaine. What do you want to do in regard to the case in front of me?
I don't,
Do you want to resolve it, or do you want to fight it?
I can resolve it if they can work me out on the arrest or my bond or not.
You want to resolve it?
If I can still get out with my bond or not.
He wants to resolve it if he could still get out with his bond. He's asking if you'll take no action if he resolves his case. That's what.
Yes, but I don't want you to resolve your case if you want to, like the last gentleman, hold on to your constitutional rights.
I understand what I'm doing, Your Honor.
All right, time served on the camping?
Your Honor, I'm kind of reluctant to make an offer where he has an open case. I mean, if he didn't, that'd be different, but.
No information's been filed in that case.
All right, time served on the camping. You want it or not?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can't go back there. You understand?
At all? Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
Put down no return
I'm a
to
disabled
Lake
veteran.
Eola Park.
Do you understand you have a right to a trial in that case?
Yes.
And you're waiving your constitutional rights by silence while
Right.
questions from me?
No, I just had help. I need to get the thing settled.
Yeah, we can't resolve the other case, but we're resolving this one.
Sir, how do you plead to the charge of camping at Lake Eola Park?
She's asking if you
Oh,
plead.
no contest.
Do you understand by entering your no contest plea today that you're waiving your constitutional rights on your plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Signature on the plea form is yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sign this freely.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anybody threaten you?
No, Your Honor.
Now, I'm proceeding on the arrest affidavit. Is that fine with the
We
state?
stipulate to a factual basis in the arrest affidavit.
Do you understand that among the rights you're giving up today, you're giving up your right to challenge the evidence the state has against you?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you're giving up your right to have a trial?
Okay.
Okay, do you understand them adjudicating you guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you're not a citizen, you'll be subject to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
I need to know if today you're under the influence, alcohol, drugs, medicines.
No, Your Honor.
Are you being treated for mental or emotional difficulties?
Yes.
Okay, what are you being treated for?
Major depression.
All right, do you feel that's affecting you today?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
You want her to do something else regarding this charge?
No, Your Honor.
All right, any questions for me about the rights you're waiving or your penalties?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir. I accept your no contest plea. I find you freely, voluntarily, and intelligently have waived your rights. You knowingly entering the plea. You do understand the charge and the consequences. After reviewing the charging documents, I find a factual basis and sentence you accordingly. And it's also by stipulation. To the charge of camping at Lake Eola Park, court's adjudicating you guilty, sentencing you as follows: 2 days OCJ, credit for 2 days served, $50 public defender lien, $50 prosecution lien, $223 in court costs, no return to Lake Eola Park. Payment plan, $30 per month plus $5 monitoring fee. All right, sir, in your other case, don't forget whenever you need to show up on it, to show up on it.
Yes, Your Honor.
This fell off of somebody's. I don't know whose it fell off of. Let me give you this one. I'm not doing anything with the bottom of the other. All right, can I have your name, please?
Wallace Lismore.
Did you say Mr. Lismore?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Lismore, you were charged with camping in Lake Eola Park. What does this gentleman wish to do?
We just discussed it, and he would like to plead to the bench if the court has a credit time served offer.
All right. You can't go back to Lake Eola Park, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm assuming he has the same 2 days?
I would have the deputies confirm.
Does that sound right, deputies, 2 days?
Yeah, please, it's
All right, Mr. Lismore, to the charge of camping in Lake Eola Park, how do you plead your answer?
No contest.
And do you understand, sir, by telling me no contest, that you're waiving the constitutional rights on your plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign this freely?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anybody threatening you?
Nah.
Do you understand that among the rights you're giving up today, sir, you're giving up your right to challenge the evidence that the state has against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to have a trial and make the state prove the charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand I'm adjudicating you guilty? That means a conviction.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to appeal any harmful error?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a citizen, this will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
I need to know if you're under the influence today, alcohol, drugs, medicine?
No, ma'am.
Are you being treated for anything that's mental or emotional?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation for anything criminal?
No, ma'am.
You satisfied with your lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else you wanted her to do in regard to this case?
No, ma'am.
Any questions for me?
Nah.
I accept your no contest plea. I find you freely, voluntarily, and intelligently have waived your rights. You're knowingly entering the plea. You do understand the nature of the charge and the consequences. After reviewing the charging documents and by stipulation?
Yes.
I find a factual basis and sentence you accordingly. To the charge of camping at prohibited area, Lake Eola Park, court adjudicates you guilty, sentences you as follows: 2 days OCJ with credit for the 2 days you've just served, $50 public defender lien, $50 prosecution lien, $223 in court costs. You'll be placed on a payment plan of $30 per month plus a $5 monitoring fee. No return to Lake Eola Park, and good luck to you. Can I have your name, please, sir?
Kevin Williams.
Mr. Williams, you were charged with camping at Lake Eola Park. That's a prohibited location for camping. What do you wish to do, sir?
No contest.
You want to resolve your case?
Yes.
All right, can I have a plea form?
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Williams, to the charge of camping in a prohibited location, specifically Lake Eola Park, how do you plea or answer?
No contest.
And do you understand, sir, by entering a no contest plea today, that you're waiving the constitutional rights on your plea form?
Yes.
And sir, is this your signature?
Yes.
Did you sign this freely?
Yes.
Anybody threaten you?
No.
And do you understand, sir, that among the rights you're giving up today, you're giving up your right with your attorney to challenge any evidence that the state has against you?
Yes.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to have a trial and make the state prove the charge?
Yes.
Do you understand you're being adjudicated guilty? That's a conviction.
Yes.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to appeal any harmful error?
Yes.
Do you understand, sir, that if you're not a citizen, this plea will subject you to deportation proceedings?
Yes.
I need to know if you're under the influence today of alcohol, drugs, medicines.
No.
Are you being treated for mental or emotional difficulties?
No.
Are you on probation for anything that's criminal?
No.
Do you have any questions for me about the rights you're waiving or your penalties?
No.
All right, sir, I accept your no contest plea. I find you freely, voluntarily, and intelligently have waived your rights. You're knowingly entering the plea. You do understand the nature of the charge and the consequences. After reviewing the charging documents, I find there's a factual basis and sentence you accordingly and by stipulation, correct, counsel?
Yes.
Okay. To the charge of camping in a prohibited location, specifically Lake Eola Park, court adjudicates you guilty, sentences you as follows. No return to Lake Eola Park, 2 days Orange County Jail, credit for 2 days served, $50 public defender lien, $50 prosecution lien, $223 in court costs. You'll be placed on a payment plan of $30 per month with a $5 monitoring fee. Please, you'll get some paperwork, sir, then you'll be released, and good luck.
Thank you.
We're going to try the Creole interpreter again. The victim can, but he can't. If we can't do this today, I'll have to reset it till tomorrow.
He's indicated to me that he can understand Spanish as well.
Spanish interpreter's gone for the day.
Oh, I was trying to provide a solution.
Should I try now? Should I try this talk button?
Yeah, you can try it.
Nope.
was trying English, he said he understands a little bit of English.
The charge is extremely serious, and for somebody who doesn't really understand, I'm going to insist on an interpreter.
Yes.
And I would just roll him till the morning. No?
Go ahead.
It's probably because it's Sunday. Okay, I'm going to roll this case till tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Make sure that they order somebody for tomorrow morning. Ma'am, we're ordering a Creole interpreter for tomorrow morning.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
What time should she be back? I'm not here tomorrow, so I'm trying to find out what time you should come back.
Yes, ma'am.
Court starts at 9. They said maybe come at 8.
Okay. Yeah,
She's called several times. Okay.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.